What is up, my chaotic movie lovers? Welcome back to Popcorn and Chaos, show where I celebrate the chaotic world of movies. What's up, guys? I'm your host, Lucas, and without further ado, let's rock some movie talk. So, it's quiet today. I've got the day off of work, and everybody's gone school, work, kids are gone, wife's gone, and I'm looking outside, and it's very overcast. Not raining yet. I don't know if it's supposed to or not. I gotta check. Here I am talking about the fucking weather on a podcast. Shut up, Lucas. But I'm looking outside and it's got that overcast peeking through the curtains, and it's just reminded me of those summer days, maybe when you got overcast summer day when I was a kid. Maybe my brother was gone and my parents were still at work. And I'm just home by myself and it's raining or something, it's dark, that moody feeling, and it's like, man, I want to strap on my blades and go skate over to my friend's house or ride my bike over there. But then also, what else is there to do? Well, you spend a little while going through the family VHS collection. You finally decide on one of your absolute favorite movies to settle down with, bundle up on the couch with your favorite snack, and watch a movie. Man, just brings me back. I just started thinking about that right before the episode. I'm like, yeah, that's nostalgia right there at its finest, man. I miss it. Those were the days. Pull out the VHS, make sure it's rewound. And if you were any type of OCD with your movies like me, you always rewinded it when you were done. So it's ready for the next time, right? Right? I'm not the only one that does that, right? Well, man, we've got a fun one today. This is the first edition of my chaotic breakdown, where we just get to pick one movie and dissect the fuck out of it, laugh at it, go through it with the characters, relive it, you know. So that's what we're doing today, and I've got one of my all-time favorites planned. Yes, it is 1990's Tremors, directed by Ron Underwood. This is quite the movie. Don't think it would work today. It's crazy that it worked back then, but it worked so well. Basically, this movie is about underground worms that attack a small town in Nevada. Giant worms, I might add. Makes it a little bit scarier, right? Oh, yeah. Spoilers. Spoilers. If you haven't seen Tremors and you don't want the movie ruined, don't listen to this. Okay? Don't press play. Or if you have pressed play, turn it off if you don't want spoilers, if you don't care. But if you have seen the movie and you just want to relive it, all right, just had to get that out there. So the reason I picked this is it's a movie that I don't remember the first time I saw it. It's always been there. I do remember the first time I don't think it was the first time. I do remember going into the video store before we owned it and renting it multiple times before we finally bought it. We didn't buy it, actually. So originally, I saw it on TV when I got probably about the age of 4 or 5, maybe a little, maybe 6. Saw it on TV, so it was a little edited, but fell in love with it. Parents let me rent it from the video store. After that, I rented it multiple times, and it's just this movie was my every kid had that movie that where they liked to that they went through the phase. I mean, probably a few movies, but you went through the phase of that's the one you were playing with your friends. You want to play, hey, you want to pretend we're in Terminator, you want to pretend we're an alien. Well, Tremors was my thing. Whether I was with my friends or not, even in my house, I had all my toy fake guns. Those were big in the 90s. We always had our toy guns. And I'd be up on the couch and I'd imagine it was the roof of, the store, of Chang's store, or, Bert's roof or something. I would pretend I was on a roof and the graboids trying to get me and I'd be shooting down. That was my action sequence that I like to play. I'd play it with my action figures. They'd have to climb up the and I'd have the little like houses and stuff, and they'd have to get on the roof. And oh no, always got to choose something to be the monster. I didn't have an actual toy graboid. That would have been fucking cool. Actually, I still wish I had a toy graboid. That would look really good here in my collection. So this movie is pretty much an entire hour and whatever long of nostalgia for me. This movie is one of my all-time favorites because of that reason. It's not the best movie out there, obviously, but for me, it hits at home right here. It's always going to be one of my favorites. So we're going to jump into it and dissect it. And I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. I'm just going to say that right now. I hope you guys enjoy this. So let's get into 1990s Tremors. Yeah. All right. Tremors, 1990, directed by Ron Underwood. This movie went on to spawn multiple direct-to-video and streaming sequels and a TV series. We'll cover the first 3 movies on this podcast. After that, it's not great, in my opinion. First thing I want to jump into about the movie is an element of the movie I think makes it work, and that is the setting, the small town of Perfection, Nevada, desert. It was actually filmed in California in the Lone Pine, Olancha area. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But it ends up being Perfection, Nevada, a small town with a population of, I think, 14. Don't quote me on that. I could be mistaken. So the setting and having no way out is basically a character of the movie in itself. It's the only way it works. You know, phones out, roads out. We're on our own.
We got the cliffs to the north, mountains to the east and the west. That's why Heather and me settled here in the first place. Geographic isolation.
So stuck in the desert town, no way out because the roads are messed up because the construction workers got killed out there, and that caused that. And you got complete cut off north, south, east, and west. And it's out in this small desert down. Do you think that this movie would work in like New York, in like a big city? I don't think so. I don't know. I guess it depends on how strong your sidewalks and streets are. I don't know if they're strong enough to burst through that or not. Uh that'd be interesting. I mean, they're pretty smart, so maybe, they kind of test the water till they found something soft. Imagine you'd be out there like just mowing your lawn, watering your grass, and then just get slurped up by a graboid. But yeah, of course, this movie, desert is their natural habitat. Of course, they're going to end up out there. Only makes sense. So you got complete isolation, nowhere to go. And it ties into the movie perfectly, and it's necessary for the movie. That's the kind of the show. They got to figure out how to get out. We're trapped in the valley. What are we going to do? Let's take a look at the monsters themselves. The graboids, or if you're like me, I used to call them Tremors when I was a kid. I didn't like the concept that, oh, that's what they were named. I guess I missed that part when I was really young. I used to call them Tremors, and they actually give kind of an, call back to that uh, in Tremors 3. Love the monsters, practical design in the first one. And later in the sequels, they started using CGI, and it wasn't great. I mean, doesn't help that they were lower budget direct to TV, but they tried. The practical designs in Tremors just they make it look so real, the way that the monsters are coming up from the ground. There was no crazy special effects. It was all built. So now in monster movies, there's certain rules you got to follow so you survive. Otherwise, everybody dies at the beginning, and characters keep getting smarter, kind of like the graboids. Now, the rules for these monsters, you got to stay quiet. It's like A Quiet Place that definitely wasn't as quiet. That two different movies, but it was like the original A Quiet Place. Hey, stay quiet. These guys are gonna get you. No noise, no vibrations. And another thing, what I like about the monsters is they start off maybe a little dumb, but they get smarter. They learn their prey. They're tracking them, and they learn their movements and how to almost even think like them. The dig in a trap, um, just studying the houses, stuff like that. So these monsters are not dumb. I mean, they can move real fast underground, but no arms, no legs, or nothing. I guess they're snake tongues, or about all they got. So yeah, you got the infamous graboids terrorizing the streets of tiny old Perfection, Nevada. What else do you need in this movie? Of course, you've got the iconic characters to bring it together to make it work. According to IMDb, this was Kevin Bacon's low spot in his mind. He thought that he was, he's got the success of Footloose 6 years prior. So he's well-known actor, and he thought that it was just the lowest. I guess ended up saying, though, looking back, it was one of the funnest films that he's made. So that's cool. Then you got Fred Ward, rest in peace, as Earl Bass. Now Val and Earl together they're a dynamic duo in my opinion. They're awesome. The buddiness, ha. No, but the buddy element between them is real. You can tell because they talk shit to each other throughout the entire movie.
The hell you did? Bologna and beans.
They're handymen, they work together, so they're smart, they're problem solvers. They know how to fix things. So that helps them in this movie in more ways than one. They're both kind of a jack of all trades, so they kind of figure things out. You got Earl, who's good with the rope, that ends up coming in handy at the end. And Val's just an idea planning man. Not really. He's a little chaotic, if you know what I mean. He's like, I got myself a plan. Finally, Earl's trying to get you to come up with the plan throughout the entire movie. And then right at the end, you get what seems like a pretty dumb idea. Then you also got Rhonda, who comes in, the geologist college student, coming in to test things out there and see what's going on with these vibrations and these semi earthquakes going on. She's kind of the brain, ends up being the brains of the operation, like behind the little bit on the down low. She's the one that's giving the advice. She doesn't know everything, and she admits she doesn't know everything. And but she helps them figure it out. Also serves as the love interest for Val, who's the exact opposite of what he describes in the beginning of the movie. Yeah, so in the scene that she gets wrapped up in the barbed wire fence, this is according to IMDb, the whole "you're gonna need your pants," and she has to take off her pants right there to get free of the fence so they can escape the graboid. Apparently that was completely unrehearsed, and they did that on purpose so they can get a genuine reaction out of her. So that's what that was. Some more important characters. You got Bert and Heather. Bert, played by Michael Gross, and according to IMDb, this was the debut of the acting career of Reba McEntire, country star. So they're the chaotic survivalists. They're always, people think they're paranoid when they're actually just trying to be prepared. Everybody thinks you guys are always turning things into a war. Yeah, it's a good thing that they are chaotic survivalists, right? They're able to kill one of them damn things. And that scene right there, the reveal of the gun wall was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. And we'll get to that. We're going to do the top 3 scenes here in just a bit. But the reveal of the gun wall. So you got Bert and Heather, chaotic survivalists that played an important part. They were going to come get him too. They were going to come save him. It's all right. We got you in the truck. Nope. Graboids suck down your car. They just bury the whole thing. So those are your main characters that are pretty important to the movie. So you got Val, Earl, Rhonda, Bert, and Heather. And then you've got your side characters. You got Ariana Richards as Mindy. At that age, I had a huge crush on Ariana Richards, especially after Jurassic Park. After I got a little bit older and she was in Tremors 3 again, they brought her back. I had a massive crush on her then. So you had Ariana Richards, you had Tony Gennaro as Miguel, you had Bobby Jacoby as Melvin, who also returns in the 3rd installment of the franchise. And then, of course, you have Victor Wong as Walter Chang, the man who named them graboids.
That's what I like. Graboid. That's it, graboid. Jesus, Walter.
Gonna be sorry if you don't give it a name. And I always know him as Grandpa in the 3 Ninjas. And one little thing I gotta point out. Sorry, Victor Wong. Sorry, Walter. But there's the scene in the movie where they find the snake tongue. They don't know it's a tongue yet, but they find it wrapped around the axle of Val and Earl's truck. And of course, there's the debate. I'll give you boys $5 for this, and they settle on $15. Well, later in the movie, you see him using it for like a photo booth and they're taking pictures, $3 a photo, right? Old Chang, slick as snot, 15 lousy bucks. I'm like, is he? Is he slick as snot? There's like 2 kids total in the town. I mean, and actually, I mean, Melvin, who's paying for him anyways? He says he was next and he gets him in the chair, but who's paying for him? We still don't even know who his parents are. So you got me. What are you expecting to keep it for like visitors? Visitors. First of all, I don't think anybody is coming to that town on purpose. And if you do, I don't know if they're gonna want their kid to be taking a picture next to a dead mysterious snake. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't think he is. He made like $6 max back off the 15. So he lost. You guys are on the good side. You guys made up on that deal. It was sad when Walter Chang died. I'm not gonna lie. As a kid, that hit me. That hit me. So setting perfect for it. The monsters, I don't know. They're weird. It's a weird concept, but it works. It creates this fun ride of a movie, and you got your characters that are, in my opinion, iconic. Like I said, the chemistry between Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward in that movie was amazing. One of the things that made it so rewatchable for me. I'm gonna go most chaotic scenes. I'm gonna give you 3, and then you guys tell me if which one of those is your favorite, or if I didn't even hit yours and you think you got a better one. Let's hear it, man. So, 3 most chaotic scenes of the movie. First one I'm going with is the first actual visual encounter and the pole vaulting scene. I would rewatch the pole vaulting scene. It's something about the music, I think. I could rewatch that scene over and over again as a kid. It was like the happy part of the scene for me. But yeah, and then them also before that, them having to run from it and the fence coming down behind them as they're running. We can make it. We can make it. And knocked himself cold, right? That into the pole vaulting and then being stuck out there. Great scene, one of my favorites. Next one, Graboid destroys the market and the escape to the roof. That's what set me on my whole we gotta get to the roof thing when I would play with my toy guns and pretending I was in a Graboid movie. So yeah, the whole it coming into the store, knocking over the shelves when Rhonda on him, and yeah, them having to escape to the roof and everybody getting on their roof. That whole scene, I love that one. And then of course we gotta put Bert's rec room scene on that chaotic list. Get out of your basement, Bert. Nope. It comes crashing through, and that's when we get the iconic gun wall reveal. It is still hits me every time. You're like, oh man, they're out of ammo. What do? They back up and boom. Start grabbing guns, start trying to use whatever you can on the son of a bitch. This is also where I get the best quote of the movie, in my opinion. Again, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's gotta be
Broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you bastard?
yeah, definitely best quote of the movie. All right, so Tremors, we're gonna do the scoring on it. I've got to come up with a name for the scoring. I have 3 categories under the scoring, but I want to get a main name, so we're gonna do that. All right, so on the chaos level for this movie, I'm going with an 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty chaotic in most scenes, um, but there's always a little room for more chaos, right? So we're going 8.5 out of 10 on the chaos level. The monster slash villain threat level, it works. It's a great movie. I love it, but the setting is a big part of why it works. So if you put those things in like, a concrete jungle, like New York or San Francisco, you put them in a big city, we might have a little bit of an edge and we got, and their population was really low. There was only like 14 of them and they were stuck. So that plays a big part. So threat level, I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. Rewatchability score, it's easy for me. This is very biased, but I got to give it a 10 out of 10 for the rewatchability score. I can throw this movie on pretty much any time and rewatch it, relive my childhood. It does not get old for me. There's quite a few movies like that for me, but this is up near the top. It's definitely one of them. And so, Tremors, everybody, classic, and did not do the best at the box office, but ended up slowly through time making a havoc in home video sales, and it has become a cult classic and one of my personal favorites. It is a gem of a movie for me, and I will love it forever. Thank you for joining me again on Popcorn and Chaos. Now, next week is my first movie combat segment. Yes, we're going to pit two movies against each other. Going to go through categories, see which ones gets the most points, and who comes out on top. Next week, we will be doing the movie combat of Liar Liar versus Big Daddy. Yes, gonna do it. Have a little comedy battle. I hope to see you there. Thank you very much. All right, my chaotic movie lovers. I will see you next time.